Hi guys, this is Bill from Spencer1984.com with another update to the Vacation Family Truckster. And this week I'm going to be demonstrating how I'm finishing the hubcaps. So I got the first three done here, and what I did for them is I started off with a little bit of bare metal foil. Take this and just kind of cut something a little bit larger than the hubcap. I'm going to need to have enough material here to actually burnish down and not short myself on the edges. Get this peeled up. Alright, so got my square. Kind of center it on the hubcap and just tack it down. Make sure it's stuck well, and then bring in a Q-tip, just straight cotton bud, nothing fancy about it, and start at the center, work my way out toward the edges. And I do it this way to try to minimize the wrinkles in it. There still will be a couple that show up. For the most part, I'll be able to burnish those out, but starting from the middle and working out, it lessens the number that I'm going to have to deal with. Got that down. Start seeing the outline of it, so I can trim off all of the excess here. If you couldn't guess, yes, this is another one where you got to use a brand new X-Acto blade. Anything less than that, you're going to tear the foil and just cause more frustrations and headaches than it's worth. New blade every time. Get the corner out. There we go. And I do save these little pieces here because I can use those for doing touch-ups if I tear a corner or get an edge that ends up being misaligned. So, got the wheel outlined, go through, burnish this down a little bit more, get the edges here. And that's starting to look okay. In a case like this, it's actually pretty tough, so you can put a little force behind it. But now it's time to sharpen it. So what I've got here is a toothpick with two rounded ends, one sharp and one blunt. And I'm going to start with the blunt end and just kind of go around the edges here. Really push that foil into the crevices. Now switch to the sharp end, and I can do the outlining. One of the things that's nice with this kit that you can't always count on is it's got really good sharp edges defining the features on it. So just go right around the edges with the sharper end of the toothpick and just make sure I get all those edges down. Get rid of any of the air bubbles, get rid of as many wrinkles as I can, and just get that all pressed into place. And switch back to the flatter end and just try to burnish out a few more of these little wrinkles that have showed up. Yeah, that's looking pretty good right there. And just kind of go around here a few more times. There you go. looking pretty close. So that's looking pretty good, and now it's time to add a little extra color to it. So I'm going to start with a silver Sharpie and just go around the rim here. This movie car had kind of a flat aluminum edge on it, just a chrome center. And then for the crest, I'm going to use a gold Sharpie. And again, the sharp casting on this really helps because I can just hit the edges here and don't really have to worry about slopping over onto the cap itself. And make sure this is nice and covered with a couple of coats here. And there we go. I have the Wagon Queen genuine hubcaps here. And they're looking pretty good. I do a little touch up on them, but overall, pretty satisfied with how these have turned out. So that's it for that. But the other thing that I worked on this week is we got the body painted. Now this is the TS52 Candy Lime that I showed off on the chassis video, but I did go with a different undercoat to tone it down a little bit. Thanks again to everybody for the feedback on that. And got a little spot here on the front fender where my masking didn't line up quite as sharp as I was hoping it would, but other than that, I'm generally pretty happy with how it's turned out. Now, front's a little scuffed up here because this body has a similar problem to Mobius kits in that the tolerance is so good that paint will screw it up. So you see that after I did the scuffing, that's in there. Very good fit. You know, no glue at all, but that's not going anywhere. So just something to keep in mind if you get one of these, make sure to check your tolerances because odds are it's going to be a better fit than you think. So that's it for this week. Making some progress toward the final goal here. Next week I should have the paint touch-ups done and hopefully have all the trim done on it as well. So I'll be able to get the last of the wood grain paneling in place. And yeah, be on the home stretch at that point. So I will have that update next week. You can check back then, and thanks for watching.